Here we go, Diz guy against me. Okay, and maybe we can play one of these. No, I guess not. Looks like a London system. Let's see, I had good luck with an early queen b6. Let's be so bold as to play c6 and queen b6. That will confuse him. That will confuse him indeed. I could even consider going, can I? Say I fianchettoed this bishop, and then I played e6, and then I played, d6, and I put the knight here, and then I played e5. With maybe castling in between. Yeah, he castled kingside. Okay, that's a good. Maybe I'll even play rook e8. Make that e5 even stronger. So I can play it now, right? I cannot play it now. I could bring the knight out since he's castled. He probably doesn't want to give up this bishop. Well, even if he doesn't move the bishop, I can still play e5 now. But this way is even better. So the only fly in the ointment is he might take. I take. I think I need to drop my queen back here to keep the d6 pawn defended. Because I didn't really want to take back with the pawn. I want to take back with the piece. Like so. And I wanted this to be defended. Now I've got the bishop pair. So he eliminates the bishop pair. Or I could play f5. He'll move, and then can I get more pressure on this pawn here? I don't see it. I could take and then play f5. Well, I mean, it helps me develop my rook quickly. And I don't know if f5 is such a good move. Opens up this diagonal towards my king. So he decides to defend. Let's drop the bishop back. And I'll double my rooks here. He's got a weakness. Let's pile up on it. So that's only defended by the queen, huh? Ah, so there's a fork. He can move the knight with check, but I can take it. Yeah, I was just thinking about various pieces that it could attack that knight, which was close to being loose. Then I saw, oh, but there's a fork. Even better. Yeah, I think he needs to think for a while. He decided to give up the knight this way. It was with check, so I didn't have time to take his queen, but now his queen really is hanging. And actually, I think I can trap the queen, can't I? No, I can't. Can't quite trap it. It's close. So I go here. Queen goes to h6. I pull the bishop back. Queen runs to h3. Yeah, close, but no banana. And let's just do that anyway, just to sentence the queen to Siberia. Oh, it could go there. I thought there was no good because of rook here. Thought he had to go to h3. And he resigned. Okay, well, that's a clever and unusual way of meeting. Yeah, I can't say clever. It's an unusual way of meeting the London system. So feel free to try it out at your own risk. Yeah, let's get back and play a rapid game. But if you're looking for something new against the London system, maybe you could try that. Master Shifu. Okay, we're going to do d4, c4 against the knight on f6. Classic opening position here. And he plays a Benoni. Could be going for a Benko. He is. So the Benko gambit. I play the half accepted line. You take once. And then you push. So it gives back the pawn immediately, but leaves black with some weaknesses over here, and it's not as easy for him to exploit the weaknesses on my queen side with only one open file. Normally there's like 2 open files over here. And you keep taking, and all of his pieces become very active. It can be played. It is playable to take and accept the Benko gambit, but it can also be difficult. Okay, so pawn up or knight up. I don't know if the order matters, but I'm going to move the pawn first so the bishop can come out if I need it. You might need to come here to defend this pawn. Okay, then this knight can start its journey to here. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I like this. I like the way this is looking. And don't open up this diagonal prematurely. There is a danger here where he can just take sometimes and you take back, and then the bishop takes the rook. That's if you move the b pawn. So this b pawn is kind of a stalwart of my defense here at the moment. Okay. So that might discourage him from moving his e pawn because I'll have pressure here. I think I want to get castled. could actually develop the dark squared bishop because the knight is defending here, but I'm not sure how safe that is. But I guess ideally you develop this bishop and you move the rook here, and then you can play b3 and everything is good. Yeah, he's going to just take care of that knight once and for all, but he will lose a bishop doing it. Let's see, I could take this pawn with check and take his bishop, but I lose 2 pieces for the sake of 1, so for a piece and a pawn, so not good. He decides to castle. Okay, so we will come over here with the queen. Which square? Oh, come here with the queen. Defends this pawn and increases the pressure on this diagonal. And also defends this pawn too. So now we can develop the bishop here and then bring a rook here and then push this pawn, and we should be in good shape. This knight typically comes here, but now I can take, and this is well defended. Yeah, even the knight defends it. Okay, so do I want bishop g5? If I play bishop g5, putting a little pressure here, he might kick me. And I come back here, and then he plays the knight here. Oh, okay, so I'm going to take a timeout. And prevent a knight coming to this square. Excuse me, erase this one. Prevent a knight coming to this square. So now I can go here, and he can kick me, and then I can come back here, and then he can't go here to harass my dark squared bishop. Now, since this is the half-accepted line of the Benko gambit, I have the same number of pawns as my opponent. I don't have any advantage materially. But I think my position looks pretty good here. Just see if I can get bishop g5, rook c1, pawn to b3. That's my goal. And usually pawn to e6 is played to undermine the center, but because of the knight here, he can't really do that very easily. He could just take, but then I have the bishop pair at least. What else could he try? Like I said, his knight here is an idea. Okay, yeah, wherever that knight goes, I think I have to take it. So let's do that. I took with the queen. I could take here with my knight, but let's think about it. Or even my bishop. Knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, and then this is defended, and I can play here. I guess I should. The idea is to play pawn to a4, defending the bishop, and then again move my dark squared bishop and get the rook off the corner there. mean, I assume I'm going to need pawn to a4 at some point. It's not necessary right now, but I won't be able to move the rook until this pawn is secure, and I won't be able to move the queen until the bishop is secure. So he did stop me in getting my ideal configuration with the pawn on b3 and the rook on c1. But I guess we've just gone into a regular Benko gambit. But as I said, I have the bishop pair. I don't imagine this is good for him. Although we can ask the computer afterwards. Because in a way, he's just gone into a regular Benko gambit, right? It's just one pawn, which he was intending to gambit from the beginning anyway. What else is there? Knight moves. He could do this with the knight, but well, right now I take it he could think about moving his knight, you know, in this journey, but it's not possible just yet. This square is not possible. Could bring the knight here. He could drop back with the queen so he could support a knight here, or move a rook so he could support a knight. Or he could move the rook here so as to attack my bishop. But again, I would play a4. Oh, he attacks my bishop that way. So let's think about this. I play a4. If the rook takes the bishop, I can take back. The queen takes the bishop. I can take the queen, and he can take the rook. That's a good trade for me too, right? It's a rook and a bishop for a queen. That's a good deal. If he brings the other rook here, then he will be threatening to take my bishop, because pawn takes bishop, rook takes rook. I mean, yeah, rook takes bishop, pawn takes rook. Then rook takes rook. So, yeah, so he's just going that way with the knight. So let's immediately unpin. Unpin my pawn. Oh, I see. If I go there, if I go here, he can take this pawn. So I'm gonna be stubborn and try and hold on to that pawn for a little bit. Next, I can play b3. Then my bishop will be free to roam. He is trying very hard to keep my pieces tied down in a way, so I haven't had time to develop. It has been a problem. Okay, yeah, I'm going here. If he goes to b4 with his knight, which is a reasonable move, then I'll just drop back with my bishop to b5. And let's just make sure he doesn't have some weird checks with that knight. There. It looks like all the squares the knight might move to are covered. And now, will I finally be able to get my bishop off the back rank? I think bishop to e3 looks like a good move. Pinning this pawn, and then maybe I could bring a rook here, here, and here, and take. If the queen doesn't move, I'll be able to do that because of the pen. Let's see, was that clear? So imagine a pin here, so this pawn takes, and then a rook here. Imagine a rook here. Rook takes knight, pawn takes knight, bishop takes queen. So he just goes right away. So I could oh, the bishop wants to go there. Interesting. So here, or maybe I should do it with the queen. No, I think I should just trade off this dark squared bishop. And it looks like this is an opportunity. The dark squared bishop is one of his stronger pieces. And I don't mind a bishop versus knight endgame, but bishops of opposite color gives black some drawing chances. So now I can't pin this pawn, so the knight can sit there forever. But it's kind of far away from the action. And my bishop can roam, and my rooks can roam. Stepping my king off this diagonal so I can push this pawn. Just change the focus of the action to somewhere else. All his strength is over here. So change the focus to this side. Bring my rook over here. Push this pawn. Bring this bishop back here. I could also trade that light squared bishop for the knight. If it retreats. Well, the knight has no moves except here, back where it came from. And a bishop here would help discourage him pushing this pawn. So yeah, I think I'll do it in that order. Move the bishop here, move the rook here, and then push this pawn. Okay, let's think. He defended this pawn, which he didn't need to. What is his idea? He wants to play e6 and then push this pawn. But let's see, I go here. He plays e6, I take. If he pushes this pawn, I can take here with check and then take here. I think it's okay. I mean, he might be able to take advantage of a pin here and win my bishop back, but I think if I just keep taking pawns, then he offers a draw. Don't be ridiculous. This position is strictly losing for you. Just because you have run out of ideas does not mean that I have. Now I can also get on this diagonal, which is interesting. Yeah, I got to be careful where he can hop his knight to. I push, he takes, I take. How about if I'm on the F file? After he pushes, after I push, he takes, I take, and I take here. Other idea would be to push F5. He pushes E4. Yeah, so he goes that way, which is interesting because now when I take, he takes, I can push this pawn with check. So he goes that way. And he puts a pawn there, okay. Like this. Double my rooks. Put a rook here, put a queen here, here. How about I come here with the queen right away then, since he put the king up there so conveniently. If he pushes this pawn, I could come here and check. Looks pretty good. If he doesn't push the pawn, I can take it. If the king goes back, I can double rooks like I wanted to. Yeah, that's not going to work, is it? So I could, yeah, I should just keep taking pawns, right? Rook here. It's a skewer. And he resigned. Okay, well, I think that was a nice example of how to deal with the how to deal with the Benko gambit. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. Bye now. Oh, I just remembered I was going to look at some positions. Let's get to the analysis board. So let's go. Well, first of all, let's look at that position where Black offered a draw and ask what the computer thinks. I think he's just losing. Yeah, look at this, a +4 advantage, and he offers a draw. +5. Okay, let's turn this off. So, first of all, in the very beginning position of the Benko gambit, if you look at the evaluation with the half accepted line, he should take it. And it's basically even, so it's not like you have any big advantage this way, but you get out of some of the tricky lines in the Benko gambit and get away from this continuous pressure here on the A and B files. Now, if we go forward and get to the point where he finally baited me into grabbing a pawn, and then let's evaluate this. So before he's played any move, all he's done is he's finally succeeded in sacrificing the pawn. Is it still a good sacrifice? +1 for me. So it's like I'm a pawn up. It is interesting that it's he can already take here. Yeah, I didn't see that idea. But yeah, my queen's overworked. Defending here. I mean, it's still good for white, but just watch out for these tactics. Knight takes pawn. And then you don't take back, you go bishop to c6, hitting the rook. And he plays f5, giving up the exchange. And that's how you have an advantage out of this position. If he just retreated the knight, or if he just moved the rook, and you take the knight. Oh, then you're a piece up. Okay, so anyway, that's how you can get out of that position with a good advantage. And then he didn't play that. What he actually played in the game was rook to a5. Yeah, and then I'm just winning from here and defending with a4. Oh, it's the top choice of the engine. That's good to know. Yeah, it's just a logical move. You just secure things over here, and then you can move the rook away from that pin. So yeah, that's what I wanted to check. Anyway, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I think it was a pretty useful example of how to play against the Benko. And I will see you next time. Bye now.